Welcome to the Toffee Blues Everton news feed. This is Max stepping in as your host alongside Tom. If you're after further analysis of the 2-0 loss at the weekend at home to Sheffield United, you've come to the right place. I don't know why you would, but that's the task at hand. Tom, first and foremost, I think after that game, I think that pretty much concludes how you can judge our early start of the season. You know, it's 7 points from 6 games with Manchester City coming up this Saturday. Just obviously have a quick look at the results. Obviously, firstly, a draw against Palace, narrow win against Watford, 2-0 defeat away to Villa, 3-2 win at home to Wolves, and obviously now back-to-back defeats, Bournemouth and Sheffield United. So we've been asked to dissect what's gone wrong, and I drew a similarity between the loss against Sheffield United and the previous loss against Bournemouth, but also the loss against Villa too. So if you look at them statistically from the cold hard statistics angle, we dominated possession in each of the losses. We had 65% of the ball against Villa. We had 57% of the ball against Bournemouth. And ready for this, lad? We had 70% possession against Sheffield United, and we somehow managed to get beat 2-0. So why are we so uninspired on the ball, and what else went wrong, do you think, Tom?
Well, there's a lot that's going wrong at the moment, but we do. There was some ridiculous stats on Dave, who used to obviously work with us at the Toffee Blues, David Alexander Hughes on Twitter. He does his analysis and stuff. I'll try and get the stats up because it was ridiculous. It was like, obviously, the possessions that you've just said, and it was just pointing out where we're missing out in terms of, the strikers are static completely. They're not looking for runs in behind. They're not like trying to work out the defensive line. It just shows the fact that we can't. We have an inability to get in behind a low sitting defence. We can't work our way through. The forwards just seem to stand on the line of the defenders. They don't make any movement whatsoever. Always back to goal. When they whip the crosses in, it's just set up to lose. It's just pretty much it's straight away. Obviously against a team like Sheffield United as well, where their centre backs are so tall and physical, crossing the ball in is not going to work, especially when we're playing Moise Kean. Like he's not. You don't want to use him in the air. You want to play the ball into him on the ground. That's the type of forward he is. But he's just about 6 foot or something. He's a young lad, and we're not playing into his game whatsoever. If you're going to play that tactic, go with Calvert-Lewin like you did against in the last match. But obviously everyone wasn't happy with that, so he's kind of listened to that a little bit. But yeah, as you say, I've got some of the stats up here from before. Just shows the spacing behind us. Try and get a couple. He wrote an article for the Echo. Yeah, as I was saying, there's too much of a focus on crossing the ball from wide areas, bread and butter for a deep line defence. There's got to be an emphasis on good positioning in between the lines, creating openings, pulling the defence out of shape through good passing, stuff like that. And obviously, players who aren't confident enough to drive the ball forward, like Schneiderlin, like it's obviously a bit of a cliche, but he does just pass the ball sideways. That's all he does. He doesn't drive forwards. He doesn't. Even Delph sprays the ball forward sometimes, to be fair, but Schneiderlin doesn't do that. He hasn't got the capabilities or the confidence to do that, and it's just pretty flat at the moment. That 4-2-3-1's getting pretty tired. I know you're not a big fan of that, but I don't know if it's down to the formation or there's quite a lot going wrong at the moment.
Not at all, and yeah, I 100% agree. And although I'm not a big advocate for putting your manager under fire after a poor run of form, obviously you've got your Twitter panickers who are up in arms, and whoever it is, for example, that spray painted the silver out, and he manages to spell silver wrong on some gate by Goodison. But yeah, I think obviously, my huge major concern comes from that complete and utter persistence with the 4-2-3-1. In terms of forward runs off the ball, for whoever's in possession and on the ball, creating angles and creating triangles around them. There's just none of that. As you say there, particularly from the central area of the pitch, I'm a big believer that you can't play two predominantly defensive players like Schneiderlin and Delph together unless your attacking tribe is like extremely productive. For example, Liverpool, like even if they play, a predominantly defence-serving midfield, their front three will still get the job done, and that's not always the guarantee with us. But to more subjectively analyse the game in and of itself, I felt like obviously early stages of the game we've got the majority of the ball, as you alluded to there, Tom. The low block, it's just kind of rifling crosses into the box, trying to unlock it somehow, and we're failing to do so with every opportunity. I think up until Sheffield United's first goal, I think that was around the 40th minute mark, Everton had 6 corners. Obviously nothing had come to it, and obviously Sheffield United's first corner, they whip it into the box. I don't care what anybody says. If a ball ends up in the back of a net 10, 20 seconds later after a corner kick, it's done its job. Like, it was a good ball in, and it levels the playing field. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. Again, another great example when Liverpool played Barcelona in that that infamous Champions League game, Alexander Arnold catching them off guard. It doesn't matter about the depth and quality. Set pieces level the playing field. That's obviously where Sheffield United have found themselves one up right before half time. Go in, give them a hell of a lot of confidence, and they sit back on that low block. And again, something that Silva's fallen under criticism for is as the clock ticks on in a game, you find yourself behind. There's no method to his substitutions. It just seems to be sending attacking players on, with no method in the madness. And and don't even get me started on bringing Theo Walcott on right back for Seamus Coleman. That's all. I mean, I'm not for getting him sacked, but that's almost criminal. But yeah, we just bring on a flood of attacking players, get nowhere, get caught out on the counter attack. John Lunston plays a fantastic ball that just splits the defence in half. And obviously, the other substitution that's come on, Muset, I think it was, puts the game to bed ultimately. The defence, Tom, how are we feeling about it? Because obviously, Michael Keane, he just seemed to have this knock-on effect from his England form. Obviously, he obviously represented England in the international break just gone. Made an early mistake against Kosovo. Obviously put them Kosovo, sorry, they put them one up. Did you see the England game?
Yeah, so I saw the highlights. I saw his mistake anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so he make amends almost by assisting Raheem Sterling about 5 minutes later. But as a centre half, you're judged by ultimately your defensive contribution and your defensive actions on the pitch. Didn't look at his best there, and nor did he against Bournemouth. So in terms of that defensive line, mate, what questions are being asked of it now?
Relying on him really, Michael Keane, the rock, because he was the one who was there last year. Obviously he's still call him young. He's still about 24, something like that. But like he's the one who's still there. From last season, obviously it was Keane and Zuma for the majority of last season. So Mina's coming in. He's kind of still finding his feet. He's had a little bit shaky at times, but he's still finding his feet, trying to find the run of form. So he's the one relying on to be solid. To kind of centre backs sometimes can try and kind of lean on each other in a way. And Keane, I don't think is ready to be leaned on, and neither of them, I don't think Keane or Mina are fast enough. And that showed. That showed in a few of the goals we've conceded this season, especially the Musa one late in the game on Saturday afternoon. But I don't think the centre backs are fast enough for one. Even I thought Dean should have been a little bit closer to Musa because he come from his side, and he didn't get back as quick as he could have done. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Luca Dean, but I think he could have done better on that occasion. And obviously, a player who's took quite a lot of criticism from Evertonians recently, maybe a little bit too much, but I agree with it to an extent. Seamus Coleman at right back. He's been an absolute wonderful servant to the club. He's been absolutely amazing, but is it time to try Sidibe at right back? Obviously, he wasn't. We saw him in the cup, and he wasn't the best. But I think he he needs time to adjust to the English game, of course. But I think it is time to try someone else because he's quite slow on the ball. He doesn't get close enough to the man. I think, did you say something on Twitter about the other day? I'm sure I've seen something on Twitter about Seamus Coleman and just how he's not quite as sharp as he was going forward or defensively. I think, to be honest, and that's a big part of it. That's obviously he's the captain, so it's a big part of the team. And apart from Luca Dean, there's none of them who are 5 out of 10 plus performers consistently. This anyway, and you need that. We've got no leaders at the back. We've got kind of obviously Seamus Coleman is meant to be a leader, and he tries to an extent, but you need your leaders to be one of your better players. And unfortunately, at the moment, I think Seamus Coleman is not one of the better players, to be honest. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. And as you say, it just seems to be part and parcel of an overall blip in form from not just the defence but the team as a whole. Given that, in the opening few games of the season, we were being commended on just how solid we were defensively and the clean sheets that we managed to keep. You mentioned someone there who might possibly be a contender to come in and take Seamus Coleman's place in the starting 11, that being Dribble Sadebe, who of course we did see against Lincoln and put in a solid performance. And what we'll do is we'll press on to those sorts of masses about what we could be expecting, as obviously we're coming up against Sheffield United's crosstown rivals, Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday in the Carabao Cup, which we will cover in a video coming up soon. So there you are. Hopefully we've ticked a few boxes of what you felt went wrong with the performance against Sheffield United too. Make sure you stay subscribed to all the Everton news feed updates across all social media platforms, and we'll see you soon.